What's good, guys? Hope you guys are good. Top of the morning, guys. So yeah, guys. Today just wanna share an entry that I took. Hopefully by now, you have seen on the thumbnail, the the screenshots there, right? So yeah, guys. So excuse the noise, guys. My landlord is doing something there. They are cutting some board, right? So yeah, guys, let me explain this entry, right? So if you can see, this is where I took this entry, right, on Wednesday, right? This is where I took this entry on Wednesday. Right now you have to understand that before taking this entry, what I had in mind was, okay, this is the reason why I'm gonna do this breakdown, so that you guys can learn a thing or two. Not saying I'm perfect, but um, I'm just sharing what I know, right? I'm just sharing what I know, because I know when you're still starting out, it's always hard. When you're still a beginner, it's always hard to understand market structure, right? So I took this entry based purely on the market structure, right? Purely on the market structure. So let's see. If you can see on Wednesday, let me just enable this so that you guys can see, right? So this is what I had. Let's talk about this now. Okay, what I saw was, firstly, let me go on my daily so that this can make more sense, right? Remember, this is where we were on the daily, right? So we were around here, right, on the daily. If you look at my cursor, we're around here. If you pay close attention, right, this was Tuesday. This was Tuesday. So the market is uh, bouncing off a support. It's bouncing off a daily support zone, right? It's bouncing off a support daily zone, and we did this engulfing candlestick, right? We did this engulfing candlestick on Monday. On Tuesday, we did this bearish candlestick, right? Now, if you think about it, the market is sitting at a support zone. Why am I selling, right? Why am I selling at a support zone? Because at a support zone, we are supposed to buy, right? Now this is where I went deep into looking at what the market is actually doing, right? As you can see, the market failed to break this high, right? Then it came back, tested this area for the first time last week, then went up. Then on this week, as you can see, this was last week Monday, and this is this week's Monday, right? The market did a bullish engulfing, but I was like, oh, okay, the market seems like it wants to go up, right? Then I went on my, I always check the H4, right? I always check the H4. What's happening on the H4 time frame, right? After this engulfing on Monday, I saw that price failed to break this, and there was nothing that was preventing price from going up or down, right? So it was a 50-50 chance, right? Then on H4, by the way, on H4, then I went on my hourly chart. On my hourly chart, what I saw was, okay, now this market on Monday, it's bought, right? It's bought. It was bullish, but then what did it achieve really, right? What did it achieve? Did it break any high? Did it break anything to show us that the market is ready to buy, right? Then what I saw was this. Let me just enable this. So what I saw was this. We broke this, right? We broke this high on Monday. Then we closed around this area. We broke this high. Now when this high was taken out, the market seemed like okay, the market is willing to buy, right? Then on Tuesday, when I saw this bearish candlestick, right, I then analyzed the market. Then I saw we had a trend line break here. Then this area was respected and we created a strong engulfing candlestick around near London Open, right? Because London Open here in South Africa opens at 9, right? So I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting, right? It was actually London because this shows the opening candle, that the time the candlestick opened. So this was actually 9 here in South Africa. So it was okay. Then I saw that no man, this is pretty much what I'm looking for. Then I had this area of interest, right? This is a very powerful area of interest because if you pay, I'm gonna use my FIB just to give you an example. If you pay attention, right, this is just enable a 50% marking here. If you pay close attention here, if the market is playing here in the middle, right, then it has a clear point of interest like this. Then it does a candlestick, any candlestick that you know, right, it does a clear candlestick for you to take a buy or a sell depending on what the market is looking like, right? I'm telling you, this is like the most not 100% because there's nothing 100% in these markets, but I'll say 90%. There's a 90% chance that you'll win that setup, right? So when I saw this, I was like, okay, now let me pay more attention on what's happening here before we have this day on Wednesday, right? Then what I saw was this, guys. The market on Tuesday, it broke this valley, right? Because this is a valley. Why are we saying it's a valley? Because this was a high, then we had a new high, so this turned into a valley, right? So we broke it, tested it, came back down. Now we were here, right, on Wednesday, right? All right, okay, I'm waiting for the session to start, right? I'm waiting for the session to start because I can't trade outside any session. I can trade outside any session if it's like an hour before London Open, right? Or an hour before New York Open, or even 2 hours, right? I can do that, but not I don't trade Asian session, right? So what happened here, the market did a beautiful shift in structure, right? Now what is a shift in structure? It means the market was buying, now it created a selling structure because we broke this and we even had a high and another lower high, which is like this one belongs to a lower time frame. This is the one I was predicting, right? So when the market came here around, I think it was around 10. Yes, I think it was around 10. What I saw was this rejection candle. Now we didn't have one rejection candle, but we had two. This was the first one. I was just looking at the market. I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Then the second one was the one that made me take this entry because now it's not just a rejection candle, it's also a bearish rejection candle. It means sellers are really willing to take over these markets, right? Now here's the thing, if I'm gonna take an entry at 10, it means there's a possibility that it won't move during London session, it will move during New York session because the session is almost it's halfway through, right? So then I took this entry, placed my stop loss here at the top. Now this was a difficult thing to do because when I was on IG, when I saw Alexg wanted to buy this market around this area of interest, and he really bought it after seeing this engulfing. But I saw that this was just not a good entry since there was no market shift, right? So I did sell, held my entry. Now you have to understand what was happening through my psychology. I was going against someone who has already made it in forex, right? I'm selling and he's buying, right? I'm like, okay, I have to stand my ground here because I know what I've backtested. I know this is a beautiful setup. I just have to hold it, and I held it. Just using every information I have, every knowledge that I've gathered, I was like, okay, there's a possibility that the market will move during New York session, and that's exactly what happened, right? Then, around 2 p.m., the market dropped. As you can see, the market dropped during New York session. I knew that the volatility is gonna be around this time, right? Since I took an entry um, during London session and in the middle of it, right? Not when the London session was beginning, right? So as you can see, look at what happened. The market dropped and a 1:2 because I always aim for a 1:2, 1:2.5. Then when I'm up on my challenge, I'll always like aim for a 1:3, right? As you can see, if I held this entry, I would have as enough now. I would have held this entry. I'll be around 1:4 RR, right? But discipline counts, guys. So I was disciplined and I knew that 1:2 is fair enough for me, and I'll gradually grow this account up until I reach that high level. So as you can see, this is a breakdown of how I went about taking this entry. But something that was also quite daunting was this point right here, right? It was not comfortable holding this entry when we had this point, because usually when I take these entries, I want the market to have a clear target, right? To have a clear target. What do I mean by that? At least if this market did not test this point, at least if it did something of this sort, right? Turned around here, then came back here to give me something like this, right? Then I would have understood. But now, since this point was tested, this one, I had no clear point of clear target. It was just saying, it was just a matter of saying, okay, I want to go below this. Now again, you have to keep in mind that I'm sitting on a daily support, right? I'm sitting on a daily support, so the market might not go through, right, this point. But sometimes you just gotta have trust in your analysis, and also let the chips fall, right? Let the market run. If you lose, you lose. If you don't, you make profits, right? So I guess this was insightful, and you were able to see the thought process behind me taking this entry, right? See you guys on the next one. Peace and love. Let's eat in Ganza.